Hello. In this lecture, we're now going to be focusing on minor scales, which we've done a little bit. And I want us to kind of hear the sounds of these minor scales now. Have a similar sound towards one another. Similarly, the major scales and chords also have kind of a similar sound. They all sort of have a bright resonance to them, and the minor is a little bit darker and damped, it seems. Here's what I like to, so I'm making a few mistakes as I play through this, but the idea is to play the scale and then play it with 2 octaves. Because going up and going down are 2 different ways of processing how to play the chord. So it requires a different mindset and different memorization of the chord. And so I'm going to try and bring this camera a little closer here so you can see the keys a little bit better. Oop, see that? I made a mistake. I keep wanting to hit this B flat for some reason. So that time through, I just remembered, okay, there's no B flat. Another way of helping to remember the scales is to forget about the fingering per se, and focus more on what exact flats and sharps are in there. So that time I really wasn't thinking about anything at all, and I made quite a few errors. So now I'm going to think about what sharps and flats are in this scale. And that time I had a ton of fingering errors. So let's try it again and try and balance it out. There, I hit that B flat again. Let's try one more time. Do you see that? This is a B flat again. I shouldn't even try again because this is just awful. But I will try again. And that's kind of the point, is that these scales, it's going to take a while to get them right. Unless, you know, for some reason you get it right away, then more power to you. I'm gonna have to keep trying. I'm gonna try one more time, and then we'll move on to the other things I want to talk about in this lesson. Why B flat? Why? One more time. more. So obviously I need to practice this more. And I had it perfect yesterday. But the thing is that once a day goes by, some stuff can be forgotten, and it is important to revisit these scales to make sure that you really have all of them down and fluent and in memory, so that when you go to create songs, you'll be able to use the different scales during the song making process. Now we'll move on to the next. I'm going to buckle this up actually, or button it up. The next part in this lecture is I want to talk about the additional ways to work with the scales, and additional ways in which I want you to work through the song making process. So here we have that was a C sharp or D flat major. And here we have, I'm going to run through an example of how I want you to work through every single scale, both major and minor, and as we move on to other scales, we'll be working with this process and a couple other ones each time. So pay attention closely here. We're going to run through the one scale. And now we're going to go up 2 octaves. And then we're going to transition into will help you learn the scales from multiple different angles, and you'll be able to use those scales more and more in different pieces. Now we're going to work with the C minor scale. So it is more difficult to do this, for me at least, with playing the scale. I had it right. Moving into this just kind of proves that it is another way of thinking about the scale and memorizing it and being able to use the scale. So I'm going to try this part again here.